Testing, testing. Testing, testing.
Okay, we're on the record for the Public Service Commission's administrative meeting for April 30, 2025. First item is to approve the minutes from the meeting of April 23, 2025. Commissioner Linton.
Aye.
Commissioner Sushman.
Aye.
Commissioner Richard.
Aye.
I vote aye.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. At the outset, I'd like to note that items 2 and 3 will be deferred to a future administrative meeting. There's one item on the consent agenda, and it is a request from Caberton Solar Santa Rosa LLC for an extension of its operational deadline.
Okay, regarding item 1, I move we grant a waiver of the operational deadline for the Santa Rosa Solar Project until November 22nd, 2025. Commissioner Linton.
Aye.
Commissioner Sushman.
Aye.
Commissioner Richard.
Aye.
I vote aye.
And item number 4 on the administrative agenda consists of revised tariff pages from the Southern Maryland Electric Cooperative.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. Oladipo Fide on behalf of staff. On March 31st, 2025, SMECO filed revised base SOS rates in accordance with the settlement approved in Commission Order 79503, which stipulates that base SOS rates must be reset whenever the power purchase cost adjustment for residential customers exceeds 5% of residential SOS rates for 3 consecutive months. The revised rates reflect rising costs for capacity and transmission, which have increased by a respective 77% and 37% relative to the cooperative's last cost projection in 2023. The instant filing proposes residential energy rate increases of 21% in the summer months and 24% in the winter. Energy rates for all other classes are to increase except for Schedules T, CP, and SF, which will see an increase in demand charges. Demand charges will increase for all applicable classes except for Schedule WSSC, which is available only to the Piscataway water treatment facility. A SMECO residential customer consuming 1,000 kilowatt hours of electricity per month can expect a bill increase of $18.30 in the summer and $20.60 in the winter. Staff concludes that SMECO's revised tariff pages adjusting its base SOS rates comply with the settlement approved in Order 79503. Staff therefore recommends the Commission accept the proposed tariff pages for filing with an effective date of June 1st, 2025. Staff's available for questions.
So, any questions for staff? Seeing none? All right.
Good morning, Chair Hoover, members of the Commission. Damon Krieger on behalf of Southern Maryland Electric Cooperative, and good morning, Commissioner Linton, and welcome back. Good to see you. Thank you to staff for its thoughtful analysis and continued review of our monthly purchase power cost adjustment factor, and available for any questions that you may have.
Any questions for Commissioner Richard?
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, Mr. Krieger, for being here today for this. First of all, I just want to acknowledge really SMECO and just some of the work you've been doing with the Commission on the Reliability Must Run. There we go, get all these acronyms correct in my head. And some of the other public interest, I guess, approaches you've taken with the Commission and through your trade associations and other trying to address some of these fixes that are needed at PJM. So, we had BG last week, and we're concerned that maybe the investor-owned utilities aren't as active in trying to look out for the public interest. But I wanted to just acknowledge that the co-ops are in fact working with us, and we appreciate that. I did want to understand a little more about your approach, since you don't do SOS auctions, but you have this blended approach where you procure, and then I guess you have some of your SOS provided by solar. In the interest of just gradualism and trying to, again, look out for ratepayer interest, can you describe a little bit how your approach has helped mitigate a little bit some of the, the costs from the NITs, from the transmission, increasing transmission charges and capacity charges and ancillary charges, and I guess the variability in the FTR market?
Thank you, and thank you for the acknowledgement. I think we've worked very well with the Commission's Office of General Counsel as well as Maryland Office of Counsel to address a variety of matters at FERC, including this important issue. So thank you for that acknowledgement.
Yeah, no, it's noted by OPSI states, and really appreciate it.
Thank you. In terms of, so we have a managed portfolio, which is unlike the investor-owned utilities in the state, and as a result, we're able to look a little bit more long-term and provide some hedging in place, which helps smooth the peaks and valleys, so to speak, when it comes to pricing variations. And so every month through our purchase power cost adjustment, we're able, in terms of gradualism and avoiding substantial rate increases. Like even when we're talking about this is just a restatement of our base SOS rate. So our PPCA factor is already reflecting increased costs that we're seeing as a result of the recent market activity. And so, for example, for the 2025-26 delivery year, we have hedging in place, which has mitigated to some extent, I think to the tune of about $20 million or so, a reduction in costs that we otherwise would have seen. And so our long-term hedging has at least provided a benefit to our members in, to your point, avoiding at least some of the increased costs that other utilities in the state may be experiencing.
I appreciate that. And do you participate in the PIP process and performance improvement, I think, process at all, or is it because you do this differently than the other utilities, it's not relevant to your?
I think that's right. I don't think it's relevant. The PIP has focused on the auction process, and we have not participated in that process.
Okay, no, just note that there have been some benefits lately of your approach, and just be interested to explore if there are things we ought to look at as you know, compare and contrast with the auction approach. But
We're more than happy to come to a session and speak to our approach, and to the extent that's beneficial to the group, certainly happy to participate in that.
okay, yeah, just my thought, but it just given the circumstances that we're in right now, it may be something interesting anyway to look at. So thank you, Mr. Grieger. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Sussman.
Morning, Mr. Krieger. Now you've got my interest. So can you talk a little bit about what hedging you do?
Sure. Unfortunately, the experts just walked in case I need to rely upon them.
Okay,
We enter
well,
into
good.
To purchase power agreements with some renewable resources, for example, and other resources.
Okay, and so those
For
PPAs
capacity.
over what period? So 10-year period?
I'm going to call upon
Sure.
Perfect.
Eugene Bradford, who's our Vice President for Rates and Tariffs, who manages our portfolio. And
Okay, thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. We do enter into a number of deals for our portfolio process. We have deals for PPAs for 4 different deals for wind farms that we have that are long-term deals go out all the way to like 2036 currently is the longest one we have out in place, and that gets us energy from the wind farms, and it also we use that for some amount of capacity in the RPM auction, so we are getting a little bit of capacity revenues out of that for meeting our power supply, and it also, of course, helps cover our REC obligations we have every year for the legislative requirements on REC. And then we do enter into just bilateral agreements for quantities of power supply to meet our hedging requirements, and we have done a couple of bilateral deals that are in place for our capacity obligations to basically provide a certain amount of megawatt capacity revenues that offset the capacity obligations that we pay. And that's Mr. Krieger was referring to that for the upcoming year, those deals have basically offset our capacity obligations by about $20 million.
So in terms of a percentage, do you have a sense of how much of what you're providing is hedged versus what's purchased on the market?
So we have actually a hedge plan that we do for our procurement of our power supply, and it basically sets up ranges that we target to get to on our total power supply obligation as we get closer and closer to the delivery year of any particular amount of power supply. So it ramps up over time to get to majority, but generally we don't try and get 100% because of variations in load that go on a daily and monthly basis. But it starts us out and it's basically about a 5-year range target there of getting a range of our power supply requirements hedged through bilateral deals, and that allows us to do this on a averaging of time going forward basis, where ups and downs of the market as it go along, we can average that out by doing this over time and trying to avoid any kind of rate shocks as much as we can, and and what the costs are to our members, but at the same time, we can negotiate and wait if we want and try and get what we think is a good competitive price for our power supply, and that's what we do.
And do you have anything that's sort of publicly available that we can take a look at?
Go ahead.
I think, just to answer that question, so we are subject to an annual review process before the commission on our purchase power cost adjustment, as well as our
Okay.
hedging plan as part of that. Some of that is confidential, so just mindful for that. But the
Right.
commission has copies of all of those confidential materials that are filed annually in the PPCA docket. And so there is a lot of information available there, including testimony presented by the company's staff and other interested
Okay.
parties.
All right. Thank you.
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. Just had a quick question. As you may know, I've been out of the loop a little bit for the last couple of years, but how active is the competitive market in SMECO service territory now? Is it didn't used to be active? I'm just curious if has it picked up a little or not?
Are you referring to alternate suppliers?
Alternate
serving
suppliers,
customers?
yeah.
Actually, not many members are using alternate suppliers. It has, we have 8 or 9 alternate suppliers that are registered in our service territory, and over time, they have signed up members for power supply service in our service territory, but currently it has been declining significantly here lately, and at most it was only about 2 or 2.5% of our members that had ever signed up, and currently it's down to I think less than 1% at this point in time.
And I would add to that, I think, so our SOS rates have traditionally been the most competitive in the state of Maryland. And so, as you may be aware, Commissioner Linton,
Yes.
Senate Bill 1 passed a couple of years ago,
Yes.
also gave the cooperative the right to more effectively have conversations with our members about differing prices. And so we're still working through that process, but it would not behoove a customer to be on anything, I would think, other than SOS, at least at this point in time. Our rates are very competitive. We have less than, I think, 500 right now members that are with alternative supplier, and that's both commercial and residential.
Okay. All right. All right. That's all I had. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So what's the process you go through to alert your members about the pending cost increase?
So we have a couple processes. First of all, we post all pending tariff filings on our website per commission requirements, so that is up. We also have a number of publications, Cooperative Review, and different publications that go out to our membership that do educate them on changes. And it's not only through the base restatement, but through our monthly PPCA changes too. We also alert customers as to those changes so that they appreciate what's going on.
So
We do it as real time as possible. We typically like to wait for the commission, whether it's staff through the
Sure.
monthly process, to approve it, so that it's not, something doesn't change after the fact. But we do communicate often and regularly with them.
So your members are going to get ample warning about the impact of this one. So
Yes,
okay, and I mean, do you describe what's driving it, or I mean,
we do through our publications. I apologize, I can't recall the most recent article, but we have described the changes in the market to
Okay.
at least educate our customer members in terms of what's been happening and the changes. We also have a podcast right now that our CEO is doing that
Oh.
has also provided some additional insights into resource adequacy and other related issues that are driving some of the changes.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I just wanted to also acknowledge it's I think it's your cooperative review that you send out, and they actually let their members know about what they're doing today and really about the auction already. So I think they've done a really very good job at keeping their members informed and educated.
Mr. Chairman, just one more thing. You mentioned this podcast. Where is it available? I'm just curious.
Well, I think it's linked through our website.
Oh, it's on the website. Okay.
I'll have to. I don't remember the exact landing page on the website,
yeah.
but I know it's there.
Okay.
And I know it's
All right.
being advertised at least on some of the social media platforms like LinkedIn and others.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sure.
Take a
okay.
look for it.
Anything else?
Mr.
All
Chair.
right. So with that, I move weeks. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. So,
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Chair, Jim McAuliffe on behalf of staff. Just to answer Commissioner Linton's question,
oh,
as of the end of March, SMECO only had 266 residential customers on supply, out of about 160,000 residential distribution accounts. So very small participation in SMECO's territory.
Okay, just as a quick follow-up, is that a decreasing number? I'm assuming it is. but-
Yes, so with the passage of SB1
Yeah.
and the ruling on POR, yes. For example, BGE loses about 2,500 customers a week, residential off of supply. So,
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. Alrighty, with that, I move we accept the tariff provisions for filing with an effective date of June 1, 2025. Commissioner Linton,
Aye.
Commissioner Sussman,
Aye.
Commissioner Richards.
Aye.
I vote aye.
Thank you.
And the final item, item number 5, consists of tariff pages and a customer notice from a collection of water companies.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. David Vaccarangi on behalf of the Commission staff. On April 24th, 9 individual water companies owned and operated by Mr. Edward Crooks, collectively referred to as the water companies, filed revised tariff pages to implement new rates authorized by Commission Order Number 91617, which approved the settlement agreement case number 9750 with some modifications and set an effective date of May 1st, 2025. In addition, the water companies filed a proposed notice to advise customers of new rates. The revised tariff rates modified original tariff pages filed with the settlement agreement on September 13th as mail log 312313. Staff reviewed the tariff pages for the individual companies and believe the tariff pages comply with the requirements as set forth in Commission Order Number 91617. Staff also reviewed the proposed notice to customers communicating the new rates and the change from quarterly to monthly billing, and believes the notice is also compliant with the requirements set forth in Order Number 91617. Therefore, staff recommends the Commission accept the revised tariff pages for filing with the effective date of May 1st, 2025, as set forth in Order Number 91617, and allow the water companies to utilize the proposed notice to communicate the new rates and billing arrangements to customers. I'm available for any questions you may have.
So, any questions of the staff? Commissioner Sussman.
Just very quickly, I guess, and you've been in communication with OPC, and they're fine with the language of the. Okay.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brock Miller from OPC. That's correct, Commissioner Suchman. We've reviewed it as well throughout every stage of this process, and we are satisfied with the notice and the tariff change.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bob Weisser on behalf of the water companies. Yes, we did preview the filing with both staff and OPC prior to filing. Both signed off on the notices and the tariff. Since we filed the letter on April 24th, the notices have been mailed to all customers, and the tariffs will be posted on the website sometime today. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Okay, with that, I move we accept the revised tariff pages for filing with an effective date of May 1, 2025, and allow the water companies to use the proposed notices as an appropriate communication to customers about the revised rates. Commissioner Linton.
Aye.
Commissioner Suchman.
Aye.
Commissioner Richard.
Aye.
I vote aye. And with that, we're adjourned. Now, so folks that are here for the rulemaking, you want to just roll right into it, or you want to take a little break? Okay, so we'll come back at 10:30, so.